Hello, 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 and welcome to the 41st episode of the Collective Spotlight. I really can't believe we've been doing this for 41 episodes, getting right there on the heels of 50. And again, very little time do I need for an intro because I'm not super important. The important person is my guest, who his book, Nottingham, has been a huge hit in our store as well as many other stores around town. He needs no further introduction. The writer of Nottingham, David, how do I say the last name? Is it Hazan?
Yeah, that's correct.
Hey, I got one right. I was bound to get one right. So the book is Nottingham. I feel like MadCave did really well with the solicit, but I've kind of just called it a little bit of a dark Robin Hood retelling. But you, as the writer, you go ahead and tell the people what this book is.
Yeah, look, that sums it up pretty well. What we've done is we've taken the Robin Hood legend and we've turned it on its head. And as you can see pictured there, it actually stars the Sheriff of Nottingham as the main character, and he's like a detective in a medieval police procedural slash noir who is hunting a serial killer who is murdering the area's tax collectors. And so, as the investigation evolves, he kind of puts himself in the crosshairs of all the major players in Nottingham at the time, including the Merry Men and their leader, an enigma only known as Hood.
And as I mentioned at the beginning of the intro, the the swell of success that this book has just had you have 2 issues out right now. They had to rush a second print out. I believe a third print of number 1 is on its way.
That's correct.
How has, what success have you heard about this book so far? Only 2 issues in.
Yeah, look, people are loving it. It's equally surprising and relieving. Not that I didn't believe in the team, but it's really hard to kind of gauge when it's your first book how people are going to receive it. And everybody's just been really lovely, and people have been like rabid for more. And it's like, yeah, I wish I could, I wish I could give everybody everything all at once, but you gotta wait.
Now, is what I saw from MadCave so far is that 4 issues are solicited. Is it a 4-issue miniseries for
5
that?
issues are solicited
5 issues
as of a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, talk to me a little bit about the inspirations for this book. I mean, everybody at some point in time, no matter what generation you are, you probably heard a version of the Robin Hood tale. But talk to me about your inspiration to write this the way it's come out.
Look, this was mostly a product of circumstance and my own cynicism. MadCave asked me to pitch a noir, and I didn't want to do anything conventional. I pitched them something closer to what they wanted, and this kind of spun out of me doing a bit of research on the origins of the genre and figuring out that how I could sort of present a corollary to like post World War II anxiety in a medieval context, and that just so happened to be the Crusades, and then my mind immediately leapt to Robin Hood, and that was pretty much it. I was like, okay, well, we're doing this. Robin Hood, like, therefore must be the villain in this context, and I say villain very loosely. But that makes the Sheriff of Nottingham the detective. So,
and what I liked about it, especially I got a chance to read issue 2. I don't know how many people did because the book sold out instantly. But when reading issue 2, you really dive in to that noir aspect, and there's kind of the investigation, and people are kind of chasing down other people and everything like that. What other books have you what detective style comic books, or whether it's things you maybe saw on TV, where does your motivation for some of that noir stuff come from?
I mean, Batman. I mean, like, Batman is the kind of the comics world's greatest detective, but and I like it when stories lean into that. But also, like, I'm a TV fiend. I don't watch a lot of procedurals, but I do watch the quirky ones because I like the quirks. And yeah, we just decided to make a quirky one ourselves, you know?
And that's awesome. And again, I'm so happy. MadCave, as some people may not know, MadCave is a relatively new. Mark had his books in the first wave and everything, but they really found their stride in 2019 and 2020 with Anthony Cleveland's. Oh my God, what is the name of his book?
Show's End,
Yes,
Stargazer.
Show's End, and then Stargazer came out in 2020, which was a huge hit. Then Dryfoot, Villainous, but Nottingham, I feel like really had a chance since those original Mark London books of Battle Cats and everything to put MadCave back on the map as one of those small indie publishers. Can you talk to me a little bit about getting to work with MadCave and Mark London and Manny and all those guys?
Yeah, look, it's been a pleasure, really. I won the talent search in 2019, and from there, it's just been like it's the greatest joy to when you're starting out in comics to work for hire, because all of those like comics industry and like the non-writing things that you would normally have to do when you're working creator owned, you don't. And so I just got to focus on writing the damn thing, which was great. Um, Mark and Manny are lovely. My editor, both my editors, Chris Sanchez, Chris Fernandez, and Brian Hawkins.
Yes.
All of my editors have been fantastic. Yeah, I don't, and like working with Shane Connery Volk, the artist on the book, has been great. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I'm not providing a lot of context, but I'm just like,
the funny
enjoying
thing
the
is,
ride.
You're our third, maybe fourth, third or fourth MadCave talent search winner that we've had on. Actually, fourth, because Galliano was one too. So you're our fourth MadCave winner. So I kind of have all, and it's the same. Everybody has a great experience when they kind of get to win that talent search and get to do the writing. And most of the guys we've had on are writers. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, and we touched on it at the beginning, but you're literally, you won a talent search. You get to publish or you get to write and be published in this very first book. And then not only does the book go to a second print, which is something that Jared LaJuan was able to do with Dryfoot, and I think Stargazer went to a second print, but your book just jumped into the stratosphere. I mean, I know you probably don't keep an eye on this, but the eBay numbers are up there. I mean, everybody's clamoring for this. What was that feeling like for you, just as an individual, as a writer, as the talent search winner, to have all this praise kind of amongst the first two issues?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of background in or history in comics. Like, I've been doing this for realistically about 3 years. So, and I mean as a reader, not just as a writer. So it's a bit, I don't really like buy into collector culture, which like it's uniquely strange to me to have this book going for the kind of money that it's going for online. But it's also very validating. It's nice to know that like people are clamoring for this book. And my personal hope is that we get it into everybody's hands, at retail, but that's sort of down to people getting their pre-orders in on time.
Well, and again, as a retailer, I have to say, absolute kudos has to go out to MadCave and your team, because it would have been easy to say, we're not doing a second print. Sorry, we're moving on to 2, we're moving on to 3, we're moving on to 5, and that's it. But getting that second print of 1 out, a second print of 2 out, a third print of 1 out, that's going to assure that readers can still grasp this. Even if it's not the $1 million first print, they can grab that third print and read it. And I think that's huge. That can't go unmeasured from a retailer standpoint. And was there dialogue between, or did they kind of just tell you, hey, David, we're going to a second print. Hey, David, we're going to a third print?
I mean, I had inklings, and people had not people who work at MadCave, but people who have worked with MadCave, messaged me to let me know that like the signs were there. Jared messaged me. He said to me, "Look, I've heard through my channels that it's sold out at Diamond and it's sold out at Midtown, so that's a pretty good sign." And I immediately messaged Manny, and Manny was like, "Yep, I'm just about to post about it now."
Well, it was absolutely crazy because I had known about Matt Nottingham for like 3-4 months. Manny had sent us a poster. We were all in. But literally all in should have been doubled because we could have sold twice as many. You know, I could still be selling them. But it again, when I see that email come across from Manny and MadCave and they're like, we're going to a second print, and then all of a sudden those sell out and they say we're going to a third print. That's what we need because that's going to allow the longevity of the book. I mean, I'm assuming you have all 5 issues already done, right? You know how this ends.
Yeah. So this has been, so in terms of writing, this has been in the can since mid-March last year. In terms of art, it's been pretty much done since like mid last year. So we've been sitting on this for a while, and it's definitely a strange feeling, coming back to talk about this thing a year after I finished writing it. But I guess that's comics, you know?
So what did you do in your downtime from March? Well, let's just say the summer, because I'm guessing you were at least seeing pages come in as the art was being done. So let's just say from the summer when more or less they were just down to editing to now. What I know you essentially turned the Twitter machine on and started promoting once it hit Diamond solicits and everything. But what does a writer do during that downtime if you're not writing a new project already?
Look, I was working on little things, and working on it's all about hustle. And so I was working on pictures and working on smaller things. I've got something from an Australian publisher, just an 8-pager in an anthology, a sci-fi anthology, but with some of Australia's top talent in it. So I did that. I worked at the day job because that's a thing. But yeah, sometimes this gig, especially in comics, is about patience. And I think people forget that and try to like rush out as many pitches as possible. But you just gotta wait and plan and time your when you strike. It's and thankfully that's worked in my favor so far. So without spoiling anything.
So you've mentioned I feel like, and I'll have the answer to this in a second, but I feel like you are quite a lucky man based on who you have the opportunity to surround yourself with. Because having won the MadCave contest, you have the likes of Jared, Stoney Williams, David Galliano. Anthony Cleveland is a guy who is a success story. He won it and now has been able to write other books. But then you're also in Australia, where you have guys like Tom Taylor, Andrew Constant, a lot of great big names over there. Are there guys that you spoke to, leaned on, got advice from during your process of writing Nottingham?
A few people. Australian comics isn't as like interconnected as you might think, and it's very like I haven't spoken to any of those pros, but I have spoken to sort of people that are more on my up and coming level. Okay. My good friend Christoph Bogach, who is writing a book at Scout called Volume, which has been announced and should be coming later this year, early next year. And yeah, no, he's been like a big sort of shoulder to lean on because he's been doing this like indie comics thing for a very long time. Also, I have only awesome things to say about the previous MadCave winners and also like my peers on my year. Like Jared's just someone to talk to all the time. Stoney is lovely. We like had a little Facebook group. Jay Sandlin is another one.
Yep.
and it's really lovely. And also Liesl Buenaventura, you guys should definitely pick up They Fell from the Sky as well.
Yes. And she actually, we have an anthology book that I was flipping through the contents, and she colored in it. Didn't write.
She's been a colorist for like a decade or more.
Yes.
And she's very good. She's the colorist on Scout Comics, Dabbity Bunny, among other things.
Yeah, so we have a lot of actually of her stuff in the store. We They Fell from the Sky was another book that we went all in on, and it's a great book not just for adults but kids. And that's what I'm loving about a lot of MadCave stuff. Granted, Nottingham is a little bit darker, but a lot of MadCave stuff usually can go both ways. You know, it can be a middle-aged reader and it can be for adults. So talk to me a little bit, David, about with everything that's happened for the first 2 issues of Nottingham. We still got the last 3 issues. Without spoiling anything, without getting in trouble, what are you looking forward to, and what can people expect in the next 3 issues as the series wraps up?
More characters from Robin Hood lore. A few surprises. Hopefully going back and looking at the details of previous issues when those surprises happen, and you might find that there were things that you missed. And more, medieval murder and mayhem.
and talk to me a little bit. When Robin Hood is one of those properties loved by a lot of people. Was there any fear or was there research you needed to do to, granted you're flipping it on its head, but to make sure you get things right in that world?
It was less about making sure I got things right because you as a writer, you have free reign to reinterpret as you want, and we were already on a baseline of reinterpreting almost everything. But beyond that, like, it's not like writing Superman because you get to set your own rules. But beyond that, I wanted to make sure that the vision that I had for it lined up with the actual history part of it. So I was less interested in doing the research on the Robin Hood legends as I was doing the research on the actual history of the Crusades. And the whole story, there's only a period of about a year or 2 that it could take place to make it make sense, given the kind of backstory that I've given the characters and the things that follow, which, if we get to do this again, hopefully that's something that I very much have in mind. Anybody who is familiar with the history, buy this book so we get to gratify you and do more.
So with the way you kind of say that, does that mean that as of this moment, we don't have a guaranteed second arc, but that the possibilities are there?
I cannot comment on that.
I will take that. I'm okay with that. But like I mentioned, there's success stories here with Anthony Cleveland was able to do a second volume on Show's End, and there have been plenty of winners that have been able to get second volumes. So I believe, maybe you can confirm at least this part, because I think I heard Stoney say that they actually signed him on for a second volume of Villainous.
Yeah, I think Mark tweeted about it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm allowed to say.
Yeah. I believe I saw it on the internet, so it's real right now. But there's a proven fixture here that it can happen, and I very much would like to believe that Nottingham is going to be right there up with it. So talk to me little bit about your process. I've talked to everybody that's been on the show, but talk to me about the process of submitting and finding out you won the talent contest with MadCave. How did that go for you?
I always love telling this story. So I kind of entered on a whim, and I wrote a 10-page Battle Cat story where I murdered almost all of the Battle Cats, and it was kind of like sad and murdery, so you could tell where the the brain seeds from Nottingham came from. But I almost didn't submit. I was sitting on the script, and then I literally woke up at midnight, realized that and of course, because of the time difference, this was like maybe 10 hours before the competition closed, realized that I hadn't sent it in and like hurriedly sent it in. And yeah, it went over great. So they were believed in my vision enough to kind of let me have free reign, where others kind of got a more sort of specified pitch for what they were going to do.
So how
and
much?
MadCave,
How much?
Continues to. Sorry, go on.
How much of the Nottingham? I guess it's not pitch because how much of the Nottingham concept was what MadCave kind of said, hey, here's what we've got and we want to see what you can work with, and how much of it was you taking it and making it your own? I mean, I know with everybody I've interviewed, it's different levels. Like you said, sometimes it's here's this and do it, and sometimes it's a little bit different.
They gave me a genre.
Oh, that was it.
Yes, they kind of gave me some details they sort of wanted, and I pitched them something else that was sort of more down the line of what they wanted. But I think what that pitch ended up, and this has never been told to me, this is just my assumption, is that the original pitch that they were going to give me was kind of too similar to another MadCave book. That was my assumption.
Okay.
And so we went with Nottingham, but also I think like it captured Mark's attention, which is why we ended up going with it.
And that's awesome. So you mentioned that you're in Australia. What is how I always just have to ask this because obviously all of our customers are here in the States, but what is the comic book culture, and what's New Comic Book Day like out in Australia? I know technically for you guys it's Thursday, I think, right? In theory.
Yeah, most of the time it's Thursday, just because that's when shipments arrive. But look, I haven't had a lot of opportunity to buy into comics culture just by virtue of COVID. But I for the couple of years since I started reading comics, I was quote unquote Wednesday warrior like everybody else. So I get it. I love it. There's something sort of like very visceral to like going into the comic shop and like the smell of new comics, and I love that. And hopefully that will return relatively to normal soon.
So before you were a writer, before you submitted, what were you reading? What were some of your favorite comic books or comic characters?
I have an unhealthy Tom King obsession, so it's literally whatever Tom King was doing. I was reading a lot of Die, so there's a lot of Kieran Gillen in there. I like things that are like either moody and kind of depressing, or like very self-referential. So like one of my big favorites is, I don't know if you've read this, Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. It's like a 5-issue. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that like formalistic stupidity. Like it's just perfect to me.
Yeah. No, and those are good. It's always funny to get to find out what people grew up reading, because a lot of times it's not like what they end up writing, like, I mean, I was expecting you to hit me with like Neil Gaiman, Grant Morrison, and
I do hit on those notes too, but like Tom King is my like personal favorite. And I guess that like train of heritage goes back to Alan Moore, but I think just Tom King hits the right notes for me. So
yeah, and he's a phenomenal, especially in 12-issue maxi series, man. I think that's where the guy shines, and I look forward to the resolution of Rorschach, and he's finishing up Strange Adventures. He's got a Supergirl book coming out. I mean, the guy's everywhere.
Yeah.
So I got 5 more minutes here with you. One
Sure.
of the last things I want to ask you is, you mentioned a little bit on it about how when hopefully people can get it for retail price, but it's all about how they get their pre-orders in without getting to burning any bridges or anything like that. How do you see the aftermarket, the resale market on comic books as a creator? How do you view it? Is it if your book is going for good money, does that seem like you had a successful book, or is it more on how many people are reading it and people are giving you feedback? How do you view that as a creator?
Um, it's interesting. Like it makes me really sad to hear people going, "I can't get this book because um,
It's $50
it's
or something
yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah." And I find the idea of sort of speculators just like chewing up these books pretty distasteful, I gotta say. But beyond that, I just think like the aftermarket clearly has its purpose, and without collector culture, comics in its current form probably wouldn't exist. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. Who knows? But it's the only it's the only comics industry we have. So
It's funny how it's a fickle mistress, as I like to say, because even me, who I like to think I was on top of my ordering, ordered a ton of Nottingham, didn't even have any for the weekend. Like I'm thinking I'm gonna have plenty, and it's just crazy.
yeah. Well, so I just moved into state, but my old LCS, I gave them a heads up, and they sold out in about 6 minutes.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. And the funny thing is, and this probably helped a little bit, but we had a signing here in the store on the day of your book's release, and the guys were here already at 10 or whatnot. um every person that came into the signing to meet these guys, because again, like I think they were signing from Scout, so Scout, MadCave, very cool, they're almost like half brothers in a way in my mind.
Yeah.
um Everybody that came to the signing grabbed a copy of Nottingham, and I was sold out by 11 o'clock, and I'm like, great, this is great. And then all of a sudden I look and I'm like, oh my god, some of these books are going for a ton online. The good thing is, I'm pretty sure, and again, it's not, I have no control over this usually, but I'm pretty sure everybody that grabbed the first print was a reader, because MadCave did a great job of telling us who to cross pull it for. They said, hey, if you like Conan, you might like this book, and if you like this, you might like this book. And I cross pulled it for all those people. So most of the people that grabbed the first print, granted, read it, and not one of them didn't ask for number two. Every single one of them came back for number two.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm excited for what the second print will be able to do to hopefully bring new readers into your book here. And then hopefully, if they can't catch it on this one, because I know this one's already getting legs of its own, the third print is coming literally in about 3-4 weeks from Maggie, with an awesome cover as well. So let me ask you, that'll be the last question I get you here. Where did you guys, how much input do you have on what the covers will be for the reprints? Because I love this cover, and then I love
Zero.
what you guys are doing. Zero.
Yeah, yeah. Usually I find out when I find out about the reprint. It's like, here's the reprint, here's the cover, let's go. Like,
Well, I
because things
absolutely
roll
love.
so fast
Yeah.
with these things. So like, because MadCave's not sure until they sell out and get more orders that they can actually, have a financially viable next printing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it rolls so fast. I did have a little bit of sort of creative input on the first print covers.
Okay.
And Shane did a remarkable job on that. Like, that first cover is phenomenal. And like the third issue cover is by far my favorite one.
Okay.
And if any of you viewers want to get in my good graces, just send Shane a message and tell him I still want the original.
Oh, but so actually, I was going to tell you.
Unlikely. He deserves, he deserves everything. So don't actually harass him.
But it's funny because one of our customers, Travis Black, who actually he grabbed issue 1 and 2 and then just got a chance to read them all up together. But he just commented, "Story and artwork is top notch. Absolutely loving it so far." So
Thank you,
the
Travis.
praise is there. The praise is there, and even people who again haven't had a chance to pick it up are asking us, "Hey, is there a second print coming? Is there a third print coming?" So I'm really excited to get this book in everybody's hands, David, and I'm optimistic for the future. I'm really holding out hope that you get a second story arc, because even though we still have 3 issues to go, I know there's plenty more that we can tell in that world. So we're all holding out hope. We'll keep the order numbers high so that hopefully you get that opportunity.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. So the book is Nottingham. We have the second print of number 1. So if you still haven't had a chance to pick it up here at the Collective. He is David Hazan. David, tell them where they can find you on social media or any place like that.
Yeah. So the best place to find me is Twitter at David T Hazan. That's T for Toby and Hazan. If you don't like reading, which you kind of should, because
comic book show, right?
That's what it's all about. But I guess there's only so many pictures you can use to describe someone's name. Anyway,
thank you so much, David. Best of luck with the book, brother, and we'll have you back on either for the end of the story arc or when the inevitable next arc gets announced. I'm speaking it into existence, man.
Yeah, it's like manifest destiny. Just keep doing it. Keep spreading the good word.
Absolutely, brother. So I'll see you later, David. Best of luck with the book, and take it easy, man.
Thank you very much. See ya.
So that was David Hazan, writer of Nottingham. We got number 1 still in the store. My next guests are here to kind of showcase and talk about the event we have coming up on Saturday, which is our grand opening featuring I think there's 18 people on this list, but I'm going to bring 2 of them out in Travis, Gibb, and Chuck. Chuck, you are coming all the way from Texas, are you not?
I am, but I didn't know we were actually talking about the event. I thought we were talking about my new book, my new weight loss book, entitled "I'm Not Actually Losing Weight Because You Said You'd Love Me No Matter What." So, but yeah, we can talk about that too. That's fine.
So when's that one going on Kickstarter again?
Right? And really, all of the Kickstarter funds are just going to get me some really nice meals. That's all it's about. So yeah, we're getting ready now. I've literally been going through all of my inventory and stuff because we are leaving literally 5:36 in the morning on Thursday and driving 17 hours to Florida.
So because I noticed Travis is over here being, he had to say hi to David, so I bring David on. So Travis,
hey, David and I are chatting privately in the private chat. You and Chuck keep doing your thing. I just wanted to give David a shout out because it's very rare. I'm going to be honest. I know so many people in this industry. David's one of the few people I don't. And when Nottingham came out, I posted on Twitter and made a big deal and tagged him and said, "This is something special. You better be fucking paying attention." I apologize. I don't do it. But I really did, because it was so important to me that people know certain things are special. I've read a lot of MadCave books, and Stoney and David Galliano are my friends. Yeah. And I didn't say that about their books. They're people who I literally promote all the time, have them on a book. But I was like, this Nottingham book is special. You need to read it.
Thank you.
That was it. And I feel it's important because I don't normally shout out people I don't know.
And it's true. Travis is a hard sell, man. He doesn't just throw praise around. So, yeah, David, all of us here at the Collective, man, love the book. So again, just wanted to throw you out there so Travis could give you a shout out too.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
No problem, brother.
He's more welcome to hang out. He's not coming, but if you want to send,
you can hang out.
I'm happy to hang out.
If you need to go,
you guys keep talking. I'm happy to hang out.
So, Travis, we're doing the grand opening. I have to give credit where credit's due. You helped put this together, man. You helped pitch it and everything. We made the Yellow Brick Road here. This will be one of the things, and you won't be able to see all the names. Actually, maybe if I solo myself. So we did the Yellow Brick Road. And we have, I believe, if you include me, Steven, and Megan in here, we have 18 names.
Right.
And the idea is all of you guys will be here. Chuck's on here. Wendy's on here. Your wife, Heather, is on here. And the idea will be when people come into the store, if they just go and visit each one of you, they don't have to necessarily make a purchase. If they do, that is great. But they go meet you guys, find out what you guys are about. You sign off on your little square. And then when they're done, we're going to give them a freebie at our register.
Right, and I noticed Jonathan Hendricks is first, which is most important for Danny Malorales. Look at that. Jonathan Hendricks is the start. And I'm second. I'm number 2 at the collective.
You're number 2, and then Chuck.
These are ranking systems, right? Because I just want to make sure.
And unfortunately, we threw Chuck right in the middle. He's not our least hated son.
Joe Pruitt, though.
I actually really like myself right there in the middle, because what it means is they've already been disappointed so much that by the time they get to me, there's no expectations and I should do fine.
Well, and poor Joe Pruitt, we clearly, because he took Stoney couldn't come, so literally all we did was erase Stoney's name and throw it right in there. So he's a surrogate. But no, we're super excited to have Joe. We're literally having one of the co-publishers of Aftershock coming out to personally deliver books to us. So that's awesome.
And I will personally, if he wants, he can gladly have the table next to me too. I have no issue with that. I will give up the spot next to me. He can gladly sit there. I have no issue with that.
Chuck will be like, "Hey man, you guys need an editor? I edited, here's."
I'm passing that dude books all day.
So Travis, I want to talk to you a little bit because I got to do one show where I promoted what we have going on, and the person that was hosting the show mentioned they firmly believe that, at least at the time of doing this, and I do believe we're going to have a little bit of competition because there's another event that day. But at the time of doing this, we may be the largest collection of creators in one place signing books since the shutdown happened last year. Is that sounding right?
It's at least independent creators. I think that will be an accurate statement. I don't know about creators as a whole, but definitely independent creators.
Yeah.
And it's what I like about what we have, and not just to toot my own horn with Cthulhu Invades Oz, which we will sell there, but with putting that book together, I grabbed a lot of the Florida really, really good talent. So you're really, really blessed with getting people who are in Scout, in MadCave. You've got now Aftershock in there. You've got, Caliber. John and I have done Caliber. You got Second Sight. You get a lot of these independent guys who are doing a lot of things. And the publishers. You got the publishers of both Aftershock and Scout. Because you got to forget David Bryan's going to be there as well. So that's a really, really cool thing and a unique thing that makes Florida special. It makes it really cool because indie comics in Florida is a hotbed. The only other hotbed that I know of is California and then Texas. Those are the 3 hotbeds of comics, in my opinion. And then some people hang out in Michigan. I don't know who the source are.
I hear Australia's got a lot of land mass, but there's a couple guys over there.
Yeah, but all the good Australia people come here, like Thor and who else? So,
David, you clearly got to move over.
Wolverine.
Look. That plan was in the works, and then our lovely friend Rona just kind of ruined everything.
Yeah, but you guys get the double whammy. You got the Rona, and then right before Rona, just to liven you up, you set the whole continent on fire. Just for fun.
Yeah. Look. Honestly, I couldn't go outside without carrying a puffer everywhere with me for about 3 months. So that was lovely.
Wow. Australia's got its own problems over there.
And we've had flooding as well recently as well.
What'd you say? Because you're heavy?
Yeah, I said I'm the same way, but that's just because I'm heavy. I'll walk half a block and be like, fuck, no, this is not okay. So yeah, no, I feel you. We have no smog, but
Yeah. Well, Chuck, you're gonna be, you're coming from Texas to Florida. The humidity, the heat. I mean, you're used to it. It's just like stepping onto a different county.
Not the humidity, because we're about 4 or 5 hours away from the ocean. So we don't really get the humidity as much. It's kind of more of a dry heat. So it is different. Like when we went to Orlando a couple years back, we were like, oh yeah, that was the first time I really been around something like that where I'm like, oh, I get it now. I understand the difference.
And what I'm excited about for Chuck is
and
Chuck
I
really
thought I knew humidity.
right.
Sorry, I thought I knew humidity. I'm just bogarting this whole interview. I thought I knew humidity being from Sydney, Australia, and then I went to Orlando, and like that moment when you walk out of the hotel and it goes from freezing cold to just like getting smacked in the face with a baseball bat of humidity. Wow.
Yep.
It's an experience.
Yep.
Well, I'm excited for Chuck because the last time Chuck was here was at MegaCon, and he had a hard time selling comics when competing with Michael J. Fox and the cast from Back to the Future. And he didn't quite know how to do that. You know, he'd be like, "Do you want to buy Bayal?" And he's like, "Are you Michael J. Fox?"
Well, little did Chuck know we actually booked Michael J. Fox too. So I'm sorry. And
Come on in.
he's sitting at the table next to you, not Joe Pruitt. Sorry.
Well, it was actually Christopher Lloyd who screwed me over, but it doesn't matter. I'm intimidated either way.
So Travis, let's talk. Tell me a little bit about Cthulhu. Both of you guys can tell me about Cthulhu Invades Oz, but Cthulhu Invades Oz is kind of your baby, man. I mean, you had a kid like 2 years ago, and then you had a kid like 6 months ago in Cthulhu Invades Oz.
Yeah, so this is the book. We're gonna have the hardcover there. We're gonna have some special editions there. We're gonna do some stuff, but you'd have to bring that list up. Is 8 of the creators in there now? 10 or 11? How many?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 if you include Heather and Wendy, because they did some editing, did they not?
Yeah,
yes, editors
what they did on was huge. Yeah, but yeah, you're damn right they do.
Yeah,
the other thing though is, Danny, you're forgetting yourself.
Oh, so 13, 14.
Don't add yourself to the. Don't put
50.
yourself. No, that that walkway is made for actual comic. No, I'm kidding.
Actually,
but yeah.
And Steve, we're there. It's also because it's also because me, Megan, and Steven are also on the collective initiative book as well. So that'll be an opportunity. Which as well, Wendy. That's Wendy's writing credit there.
That is.
So and just an update on that. We're not 100% yet, but we should know tomorrow morning whether or not that'll be in stock.
Cool. And what's really cool, another one that I want to just and Travis, maybe you can talk a little bit about her. I'm super excited to have Emily there.
Yeah.
Emily was the artist on your story in Cthulhu Invades Oz. She also did a cover for our book, but Emily is like a teenager, right?
Yeah. She was when she did this, she was 13 years old. I think she's 14 now. She's super talented. She's already done pinups and Scout. She's done covers for multiple people. Very, very talented. Does her own YouTube channel. All sorts of really cool stuff. Not YouTube, Twitch channel. She's too cool for YouTube. That's what us old guys are doing.
That's what us old people are
still on YouTube and Twitter, and they're like, "Where's your TikTok?" I don't understand. That robot returned to Oz? I don't understand what you're saying.
And I'm super excited to have Emily here, not just because she's talented, but to bring in kind of new blood. You know, I mean, not to say you're old news, Travis, but you know, people know who Travis Gibb is. News. But yeah, but it's gonna be nice to have Emily here. Kyle Willis will be here. Kyle's been around. He's from Jacksonville, I think.
He's from Jacksonville, and Kyle Willis does some amazing stuff, some amazing covers.
I believe he did the hardcover for you.
Yeah. I have it right here. I can show you guys.
He's talented, so don't hold the fact that he's from Jacksonville against him, please, people. Let's
him or Luke. That'll be offensive.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
So that was the Kyle Willis cover.
You can't see it here.
I love when I'm on a bit of a delay. Sorry. I love when I don't understand Floridian references.
That would be us with Australian references all day. Well, and then Chuck's got Canadian references every once in a while. Like he mentions Canadian bacon, and I'm like, you mean ham, right? Ham.
It's not the same thing.
So for this cover, he actually did it on the pages of a Wizard of Oz. So that's what's on the site. You kind of see it on there. It's really, really cool. Even this heart, and that's Dorothy right up in the corner. See?
Oh wow!
So it's really, really cool. I actually own this painting. My wife needed to own it, and apparently she needed to spend our money on it. So it lives in our house. I mean, it may go home with Chuck and Wendy if they steal it. I mean, they're staying at my house. So.
There's a good chance. There's a very good chance.
But Kyle doing stuff is really, really cool. He's done a lot of exclusive covers. He's doing things. And what's really cool is this shop is such a big deal. He's getting the keys to his own shop in Jacksonville. And instead of doing that, he's actually coming down to the Collective to hang out with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's opening up. Cowabunga Comics is opening up. He gets the day first is May 1st, and he's coming up to hang out with you guys. With all of us.
I'm so glad because honestly, Kyle was a guy that I knew he had done the artwork for you, but he kind of came on my radar later because I believe I think Dustin is who he works with over at Cowabunga, and I just recently got in contact with Dustin and all these things. So I'm glad Kyle's coming out because I love to showcase these Florida guys that haven't been in our store yet. Right. And he's not the only one. Let's see. Joel Rodriguez will officially be in our store. He was in our store once before with you, but he was kind of visiting you rather than signing. So right. Joel will be here. And Joel...
That's a rare appearance. This is like the first time Joel's been out since MegaCon, Chuck.
And he recently got a promotion, right? Well, not recently. It was a couple months back.
Yeah, he's the official letterer, and production manager for Scout Comics.
Yeah, so that'll be awesome to have him and David Byrne, two big Scout guys there that not only have books, but deal in production. Right. We're going to have David Galliano from MadCave, which is David's boy right there. I feel like, do you have to have a name, David, to win the MadCave talent contest? Like, is that a prerequisite?
I mean, no.
It helps, though. It helps.
I don't know how to respond to that.
I can tell you were trying to find something funny to say, and you're like, God, no.
Travis, another one that
it's before 9 a.m. Don't rely on me for.
David's
actually in the future because it's Wednesday there. You know, he's in.
It's comic day.
Well, no, for them that's tomorrow.
No, that's tomorrow.
I heard Bane just broke Batman's back in you guys' comics. That's great. Yeah, congratulations.
Superman apparently lifted up a green car recently in a comic over there. Travis, one of the other guys I wanted you to talk about a little bit is David. Is it Greshel?
Greshel, yeah. David Greshel. He's a poet. Does amazing poetry, is actually very active in the comic community. He's not only done poetry for Cthulhu Invades Oz, he also, if you guys bought the Freak Show Night that just came out last week, he did the poem in the back of that. And he's done all sorts of various stuff. He's a big supporter of the community. I think he's backed almost everything you've done, right, Chuck?
Oh, yeah, he's great. Amazing.
Great support of the community, and it was so good to have him. Those poems add so much to Cthulhu Invades Oz. Brings a lot of continuity to that. So I think that's really cool that we're going to have him there. We're going to have David Sumney does the Return to Sender, which is really cool. He's got some stuff. Luke and I will be there again. If you haven't got that collective cover yet, we can do that. Sign that up.
Yes, sir.
Which is great.
Heather, your wife Heather will be here, so she's edited a few. She edited Voodoo as well, so that's an extra signature I can get thrown on there.
She edited all my stuff, so anything by me, she edited. So anything that has my name on it, she's edited. But she's edited a couple other small things too here and there. You may see.
So Travis, when your wife edits your book, how much yelling at you does she do?
In the most recent issue, broke down a lot, but prior to that, not so much. It's a tough thing because my wife is the one person, maybe Chuck's number two, but Chuck had to learn the skill, who knows my voice and, knows that this may, because it's not just about my vision of what I need. It needs to be my voice. It's very, very important to me. And these characters have a voice as well, and she's learned them over time. In fact, in issue 2, I was my dad died in the middle of it, and I didn't care. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't care. I got it on Kickstarter. But even you can see my numbers. I know Chuck and a lot of my friends helped get it over the thing, but I didn't care. It was a very traumatic experience for me. And my wife edited that, and some of the best jokes in there were not even mine. They were ones that my wife wrote, editing my stuff. So I give her total credit for issue 2 for Broke Down. But no, she's a really good editor because she really cares about the stuff, and she's particular too. Her and Chuck went over this probably 40 times. And every time they were in a competition, I found some. If Heather found something wrong, Chuck was like, "All right, I got to find something wrong because I can't let her out the last one."
I got to prove my worth here.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. And we even were having like conversations in the Dropbox about the different edits that we were finding and stuff. And no, it was great.
They came against me one time, Danny. They were like, "We know that you said you want it this way, but we've decided it's not going to be that way." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
And you're just like, "All right, well, this is a Chuck production now. Forget about Orange Cone."
That's pretty much the way it went down.
I actually say it's a Heather production with Chuck co-producing, but however it goes, I don't care.
Chuck, what's it like having to edit a book of that magnitude of like Cthulhu Invades Oz?
So Cthulhu Invades Oz is so much easier, say, than a regular graphic novel.
Okay.
Because you're editing chunks. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
I can focus on this story. I can focus on that story. So, like, editing a 4 to 12 page story is a lot easier than, say, I would rather do that, which is like a 160 page book, than a 100 page graphic novel that's one story. That is intense and difficult. This was a lot. It's a much more enjoyable experience because you can just enjoy that little story, focus on that, make sure everything's good there, and then go on to the next beat and whatnot. So it actually was a fairly enjoyable experience, not near as intimidating as working on one of these bigger books. And what was also nice is, I mean, for editors, we had Peter Risette was working there, myself, Heather, Wendy, Katrina. Is there anyone I'm missing, homie?
You had Katrina. No, it's just you, Katrina, Wendy,
Peter
did the proofing. They did proofing.
Yeah.
And just to let you know, they proofed it, all three of them separately, and they still needed edits from Chuck and Heather. Like,
Oof.
It was.
Yeah. We did about 3 passes after the proofing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I knew with that many people involved, that many. What was the final creative team count, Travis?
53. So it's 53 creative team.
53 creative. So I mean, that's just a lot of production, whether it's the editing and this and that. So again, and that's why I'm super happy to be able to facilitate this event, not just because there's a bunch of people in the building, but you all worked on this same piece. Right. I mean, that's something that we'll be able to hopefully sell to people, and they can get 18 or so signatures right out the gate there. But I mean, Travis, talk to me one last thing, just tell me what it was like.
With nice squares. That's what's important.
Yellow bricks, Travis. Oh, come on. But you put a lot of you were doing, I mean, I don't even know how long you were actually putting Cthulhu Invades Oz together, from the time you started pitching it to creators to when it was finished in Kickstarter. But I'm assuming it was a long time. I'm assuming that was a long project.
Yeah, it was like a year and a half.
A year,
doing that, and we're still we are just starting. Just so you know, we started before the end of Cthulhu Invades Oz on the Cthulhu Invades Wonderland, and we're not even to art. Like people are starting to submit art now. We have a couple of finished stories because there's always those super achievers. But yeah.
So what was it like for you, man, after, year and a half, especially with the pandemic is in between that, the shutdown, everything like that, and to then finally get to see the successful numbers, get it fulfilled, get it shipped out, the responses, everything like that?
I am so excited to let me give a little praise to the collective as I answer this. And I think Chuck is going to agree with me. This is so exciting to me. We had a private signing because we had some backers that needed stuff, and we had a private. But there is nothing like what we're going to get at the collective, and I'm so excited about people actually reading this book because I get messages all the time, and I know Chuck does, and some of them. But I really want to see some of these people get the praise that they deserve for the work that they put into the story. In my opinion, right after the recount, even all the other stuff that Jonathan Hendricks done, his story in here is number 2 of his stuff, in my opinion. David Byrne's story gets top comments all the time about how much they love it. And I really want these guys to get that praise and the hard work. Chuck is a 2-parter that he spent his heart and soul into. And I want someone to yell at him about what he did to the Scarecrow. I really want that to happen. That's important.
I do too.
So I'm really excited that we're all in the same room to be able to sign this book, as well as having some of our greatest peers. We haven't talked about Trey Walker's going to be there.
Yep.
From Scout, which is really good. Jonathan, I just saw in the post, is going to have some recount 4s, so you're going to be able to get that, which is really cool.
Yep,
So,
about a week before Diamond release date and everything like that. Granted, David, a week after Stake 2. There's other books too, but I definitely wanted to let you guys talk about Cthulhu. But yeah, I mean, it's going to, and granted, Trey Walker, again, recognizing the success with everybody here. Trey Walker just got his book optioned, and there's pieces moving everywhere with all the locals.
Well, and Chuck's going to bring his stuff, right? You're going to bring a whole selection. What are you going to bring, Chuck?
Well, Welcome to the Void, Belial, all the Advocators. I mean, all sorts of stuff that I've edited and whatnot and worked on. So no, I think I have about, at last count, around between a dozen and 20 books to bring down, and we'll just I'm still going through and deciding which ones are going to make the trip. So there's going to be a lot of stuff there, guys.
Well, I need a copy of the weight loss book, so make sure that makes the trip. All right.
Just for you. It's signed and everything. 9 panels.
Yeah.
No,
Was there an ash can? Was there an ash can for that?
No, sadly not. Nope. With any good weight loss book, go big.
It's a good coffee table book. Huh?
That's it.
But yeah, Travis. So we're having the event Saturday. Not only will you guys be here, but we're gonna have a food truck from 11 to 4. We're gonna have live music playing cool, nerdy, just throwbacks from 12 to 3, and then you guys will be here. I mean, we're gonna open at 10, but I've pretty much told the creators I'm not advertising you guys being here till 11, just because I know some of y'all are coming from Jacksonville, Fort Myers, Texas. Granted, I know you guys will be here the day before, but yeah, so from 11 to about 5 or 6 we'll have creator signings. But we're really excited for what's going on. We're going to have free comics for kids, so hopefully if anybody's got nieces, nephews, kids, bring them on out. But yeah, we're going to have a great event on Saturday, and I can't wait to finally see Chuck in person.
Yes.
Yeah, and kudos to you guys. I mean, that just shows the amount of work the initiative has done. So Chuck has tons of books that he can come down and sign. I have signings all the time, but the collective and being part of this event was so important to him and his wife. Not just him, his wife. Wendy's been so invested in this, and coming down to do this, which is really honored. And even Joe Pruitt. I mean, he's in Georgia. He's not. Yeah. He's not. It's not like he's right there.
Yeah.
The last person from Georgia had to fly out. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, apparently Georgia's not that far. It is our 3rd Georgia person now. But yeah, and I've heard maybe he's trying to surprise me. I don't know. Manny said there's a small chance he'll make it up from Miami. So I mean, we've got a great crowd of people coming out, man. And I mean, even if Manny doesn't come up, I know David Galliano can champion for MadCave all day long. So we're excited.
Well,
man.
We're going to be talking about Nottingham continuing if Manny comes up. I'll sit down. I've got him, David. I'll show him this Cthulhu. I'll be like, look, you can have one creator, whoever you want from this. We just need at least another one shot of Nottingham. That's it. Whatever you can do.
I'm telling you, man, I tried speaking it into existence. I have those superpowers, all right? That's my mutant power.
I mean, it's the first book that's gone 3rd print, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, first book that's gone 3rd print. And then I want to say not very many MadCave books does number 2 get a 2nd print.
Cool.
So yeah, those are big things.
I don't think any MadCave book other than ours has had number 2 go to a 2nd print, but don't quote me on that.
No, I'm actually gonna go right to Mark and be like, David told me that. No, I'm just kidding.
He says as he pops his collar.
I had to hunt one down, which was hard because I didn't put it aside. I had to hunt it down in my comic store. They found one for me, and they're like, "You're going to pay full price for that." I was like, "The full $4? Is that what you're saying, or the $40?" I didn't know. And they were like, "Oh no, the full $4. We know you're not going to flip it, but you're going to have discount on this. This is a full price book."
It's funny when you have a store that works with something like that, and you have to tell me you're paying full price. And the moment that they're like, "Shit, am I paying eBay price?" It's like, no. We're just doing $3.99.
Listen. Thank your lucky stars, okay? Because a comic book in Australia like 22 pages, standard comic book, roughly $8 Australian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And nobody gives discounts.
Dan DiDio's not drawing the line over there at $2.99. I could tell.
But can't you like send a kangaroo into the store and then like as they're distracted, just take what you want? Like, as I hear they're everywhere. It's not the way it works.
Everywhere.
Just kangaroos everywhere.
They're actually familiar with kangaroos because of Jumper, man. Wonder Woman's a kangaroo.
Well,
that doesn't distract them anymore.
Right, Killaroo is a big thing over there. That's a big guy. You don't know Killaroo?
Not really.
Damn
I've heard of it, but I haven't really bought into
Everybody keeps talking about how Australia has giant spiders.
Where do you think the saying "we're not here to spiders" comes from?
Okay, all right. Because
I was like, I'm not sure if if I'm allowed to swear, but
I already did it, so whatever.
Yeah, you're the Australian who's dropped the least curse words on my show. So congratulations, David.
I'm usually usually swear much more, but
yeah, I've had Andrew Content. He came on, man, and his first word on the show was an F-bomb. Like, he was out about it.
Oh, the F-bomb is pedestrian here.
Yeah, that's what I learned.
The C-bomb you got to be careful about.
Yeah.
The C-bomb, yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh man,
that's why Nottingham is so good. He has to create all these new swear words to get to the
American audience. I just drop the F-bombs all the time in that book. It's real fun.
And they'll just figure out how to handle it. No big deal.
Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't dropped a few C-bombs in there, but I feel like it's just, just that little bit too much for some people, which is why I've left it as it is. But who knows, if we get some more, there might be some more swearing.
Yeah, that'll be what the one shot is. It's the swear issue.
Although, who knows, that might get me a talking to. I don't know.
Yeah, then
I haven't pushed the boundary to find out.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's the end of our. Gosh, I should have saved you guys all for the 50th show. We could have gone for hours. We could have just done 24 hours straight. But thank you so much, David, for not just coming on your segment, but for sticking with us, because we had a lot of fun having you on here for the second half hour.
No problem. There's not many things that will get me up this early, but comics is certainly.
Yeah, and I knew when I knew that you were coming from the future, I knew we were gonna have a fun one. He's like, "Oh, that's tomorrow for me," and I was like, "Oh, well, all right." So, yeah, thank you so much.
I thought he just stuck around because he thought that I was giving him news about Cthulhu invading Oz. He thought that it was really happening. He was
breaking news.
Crikey! I better stay around.
Oh my gosh!
You should hear the crap they talk about Canada, dude. Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
It's bad. Oh, Chuck will get an earful when he's here. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
I will probably bring like a ham and be like, "This is Canadian bacon, right?" Like, no, I'm just kidding. But Nottingham, David, best of luck with the book. I think it's phenomenal. I think we're going to see plenty more things to come.
You.
So best of luck with this. And Travis and Chuck, thank you so much for coming by.
Yeah.
You guys will both be here Saturday. Everybody come on in. Make sure you pick up a Yellow Brick Road and just talk to all these nice people and get a freebie at the end of it. I think you'll have a lot of fun. But thank you, everybody, for joining me. This has been an awesome 41st show. I still got to get some comics up on the shelves for tomorrow, including David's. So you guys all have a good one, and thanks for joining me. So thank you so much to all my guests this week. Had an awesome show today. Cannot wait for Saturday when we have all the guests here in the store. Again, we have at least 16 creators showing up to be signing things. And also tomorrow we have our dollar auction. All those cool things behind me. But this is Steven's featured item. First appearance, She-Hulk, going up for $1 tomorrow, as well as all those books. So take it easy, everyone. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you Wednesday, 5:30 on the collective auction, and we'll see you Saturday for the grand opening.